What matters is the incremental return on investment or the incremental cost per acquisition. I think there are very few channels that are truly zeros, right? Where it's like, if we spend $1 million and we get nothing in return for it, that can happen, right? For sure. But I actually don't think that in most companies, that's the situation. It's just that if you spend $1 million, does that get you 100,000 new customers or 10,000 new customers or 1,000 new customers? And that's the question to really be focused on, is what is the true incremental lift of these dollars? And it might be that, your incremental cost per acquisition is really high on this channel and therefore it is not worth investing into it. But that doesn't mean that the channel is not incremental. It's just incremental at a cost per acquisition that is too expensive for your business. And so that's the first thing to realize and get into your mind, is it's not like yes incremental or no incremental. It's how incremental is it, assuming that everything is to some degree some amount of incremental. And so from there, then the question is, okay, what is our incremental return on investment, or what is our incremental cost per acquisition for each marketing channel? And then you're exactly right. How does that change over time? And so incrementality, again, is not a thing that's on or off for a different channel. We ran one test, Facebook is incremental, and now we never have to think about it again. The question is what's the incremental cost per acquisition on Facebook? And is it the same today as it was 2 months ago? And that is the question that marketers need to really be asking themselves and really be laser focused on, because again, these things can change. Facebook can change their algorithm, right? Facebook can lose the ability to, as cookies go away, Facebook loses its ability to track people across different devices and see what they're doing across different websites. And so you would expect that the incrementality would change. And so what you want to be thinking about is, okay, how incremental is this channel? How is that changing over time? And then what does that imply about what I should do next week or next month? And it's also that last piece that's really important. I see a lot of marketers get really hung up on, oh man, what was going on 6 months or a year ago, doing all of these analyses. But really what matters is, what are you going to do next week? The past is in the past, and we can use information from the past to figure out what we can do going forward. But to some extent, spending a ton of time on what happened 9 months ago isn't actually a really good use of time if it's not going to drive a decision about what we're going to do tomorrow.
Sure. Would I be correct in assuming that there is that kind of long-term data is input and incorporated into the model, but the real question we're asking about is that more immediate, what should we be doing next week, next month?
That's how we think about it at Recast, right? Recast, again, we think about it as a decision-making tool for optimizing the business next week and next month. And again, we report out on what happened 9 months ago, but we don't want marketers to get hung up on that. And we actually think that can be a real distraction from the actual business of running a marketing program, which is figuring out how are we going to improve the business tomorrow. And so the idea is you take historical data and you do analysis on that. But really, I think what we are focused on at Recast, what we think every marketer should be focused on, is how do we use that to make a decision about what we're going to do next week? And then how are we going to evaluate if that decision was a good decision or not? And I think that's really where you want to be focused. And as long as you're focused as a business on those things, you're going to be sort of continuously moving up into the right, as opposed to focused on, sort of, oh man, what was going on 12 months ago? Was that a good decision or a bad decision? It's like, yes, you can do that analysis, but only to the extent that it serves you for making a better decision next month.